A historic conversation at the Dallas Bar Association luncheon. Two men, Richard Miles, who was wrongly convicted, serving 15 years behind bars, and the man who tried the case, talked about change in the criminal justice system and how to keep innocent people from suffering in prison. Fox 4's Sean Rabb was there and joins us now tonight with more. Sean.
Heather, I covered the trial of Richard Miles when he was convicted and sentenced to 60 years, and 15 years later, I reported his exoneration. Today, all of it kind of coming full circle as I moderated the conversation between Miles and Thomas Gilmore, then a Dallas County prosecutor who tried the case.
Did the system fail?
Did this system fail? Yes, it did. And oftentimes people say that the system does exactly what it's created to do.
And I would probably say, looking back and reflecting on things, if it's not, it should be law enforcement, a prosecutor, whoever is in that position. It should be, or it is, their worst nightmare for something like this to happen.
Side by side, former prosecutor Thomas Gilmore and exoneree Richard Miles, who spent 15 years in a Texas prison convicted for a crime he did not commit.
The reality in my case is I did not fit the description, so I should not have ever been picked up. The description of the shooter was 6'2", 6'4", real dark complected.
Miles arrested at 19, despite people who vouched for where he'd been and witnesses to the shooting that said he did not look like the shooter they saw. He was charged and 17 months later, convicted on the word of just one witness.
And if all you have is a witness, I think that we should really begin to look at the full weight of the case. All evidence taken into consideration.
All the information was allegedly given to the DA's office, and that's what the jury heard to base their decision on. And as it turned out, that was incorrect.
Two reports police had never made it from the case file to prosecutors and defense lawyers, including one detailing a caller who told police her boyfriend did the shooting and named him.
That would have been a huge determining factor, probably never going to trial if we had that information.
Justice delayed, 15 long years, but not denied.
And I just hope that we leave here today not pointing towards anybody, but pushing towards justice.
Whether you're a defense lawyer, whether you're a police officer in law enforcement or a prosecutor, always strive to do the right thing and always check, recheck, and double check. I mean, you know, take it outside the box if you have to, and, you know, don't let this happen again.
So now in Texas, there is a law on the books. The Richard Miles Act requires law enforcement to turn over all evidence, every piece of information, to the state in any case that they can then pass on to the defense. And law enforcement must have someone sign documents verifying that they've given everything to try and prevent what's called exculpatory evidence, or information that might clear someone, which in this case, Miles would have been cleared before ever going to trial from not getting into the right hands. Took a lot to get there, but the laws in Texas have changed.